Hey, good morning, man. It's so good to hear your voice, brother. Listen, man, it is Black History Month, and I got a couple of things to talk about. None of them can even begin to compare with the history of the 4x1, so I almost started to change my segment. But, listen.
That was wrong, Jeff.
I think it's super important that we understand, like, the history of us as a people is about the history, not of America, but of the world. Like, black people were first. And I don't say that from some kind of ignorant, I want us to be better than everybody else versus just historical fact. And so when people talk about the original sin with slavery, and the transatlantic slave trade and the brutal generation after generation after generation piece of us, that really wasn't the original sin. The original sin was convincing the world that black people didn't contribute to civilization. And so the Greeks and the Romans trying to change history to say that they created civilization was really the original sin, because if you don't have any initial value, then anybody can do anything to you. And so I just think it's important to talk about who we were before slavery in a lot of ways. And there were several ancient African empires that I think people should take a look at, whether it was the Kingdom of Kush, which is in Sudan, and really was viewed as Lower Egypt. If you look at the empire of Songhai, which was one of the largest empires, or even the Mali Empire. And when people say, you've heard the word Timbuktu before, right, Rick?
Yeah.
Well, you know, Timbuktu was a university. Timbuktu was
really?
It was a university in the Empire of Mali, and it was said to have over 700,000 manuscripts. It taught Islam, and this was at a time when people from the rest of the world, whether it was Greek or Romans or others, actually came to Mali to learn, and so it was a crazy, huge institution. But one of the places I think we really want to talk about is also Kemet, and that's spelled KMT. Kemet was actually ancient Egypt. So before it was called Egypt, it was Kemet. And this is important because it was really black Africans that established civilization in a profound way. There's a scholar who's known as Sheikh Anta Diop, and anybody who has studied Egyptology or ancient Africa understands, and he said, nevertheless, it would long continue to initiate the younger Mediterranean people, Greeks and Romans among others, into the enlightenment of civilization. Kemet, throughout antiquity, it would remain the classic land where the Mediterranean people went on pilgrimages to drink at the fountain of scientific, religion, moral, and social knowledge, the most ancient knowledge that mankind had acquired. This is Sheikh Anta Diop talking about black folks in a place called Kemet before it was Egypt. Asa Hilliard III said Kemetic Africa played a major creative role in the cultural patterns that are unique throughout uniquely throughout Greek civilization. And so the point is, before I get out of here, is that check out a whole lot of research about who we were before they tried to tell us who we were. The Sheikh Anta Diop is one author. Ivan van Sertima is another author. And whether it's Egypt, Child of Africa, or Egypt Revisited by Van Sertima, or The Cultural Unity of Black Africa by Sheikh Anta Diop, these are all books that will break down the fact that we were amazing. And it's not about some kings and queens stuff. It's about real civilization that defined for the rest of the world what civilization would look like. And if that's who we were, Rick, at our foundation, as just people, regardless of what our profession was, then there is nothing historic, there is nothing academic that can prove that we were not the first to create civilization. And as a result, we have it in our DNA to build, even in this moment, in Baltimore, in Cleveland, in Atlanta. If that's part of our DNA, then there's no reason we can't build beyond what we've been told we can build. Those are three things I got for you, brother. Y'all hit me at Jeff's Nation on IG. Love you, brother, so much, Rick. I'm so glad to hear your voice, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, love you too, Jeff, man. Thank you so much, man. I hit you up, man. I really appreciate you, for real, for real.